You're watching Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing, go meet your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. You're watching Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing, go meet your football need. Your football need. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. Your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of your Footy Fantasy podcast. With me today, three Chelsea fans because we're doing a special Chelsea show, a season review, and season preview. So we're in between seasons, and of course, Chelsea has had a lot of events. It's going on. I've had what you call eventful times, going back a few years, going back a few weeks. Any way you look at it, it's just been a lot happening around Stamford Bridge. But before we dive in, feel free to subscribe, please. Hit it, subscribe, like, and we're taking comments live. We are live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. If you leave a comment on Facebook, please put your name because it does your profile name doesn't transfer from Facebook. It does on YouTube, but it doesn't on Facebook. On YouTube and Facebook, we are Footy Fantasy, FOOTIE FANTASY. On Twitter, we are Footy AD Fantasy. There's an A and D between those two. So first of all, let me introduce my guest today. I have Wale, who says he's a champion in the
Hey,
universe.
you know it. Good to be here with you, Vichy.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's good to see you again. And of course, we have Dada, who says he's a world champions fan. Wow. And then we have
Applause.
Idris with us, who says he's a private equity and player trading expert. Yeah, that sounds like Chelsea.
Dada and I should be switching tags.
And of course, I'm your host today, Zaza. I'm going to start with the Women's African Cup of Nations. What a successful tournament that was. Congratulations to Morocco on hosting another one, and they're going to host the next one. Going to host three in a row. The women's team have come a long way, and it seems hosting has really helped them. This is like their second final in a row, I believe, and they've lost the two, but they were not this close years ago. They've also organized two great tournaments. This one in particular was a good one. It was a good final. So unfortunately, they did not win. I'm very, very, very glad they lost because my Super Falcons won. Congratulations to Falcons. A
Yes,
special
so
congratulations to Esther Okoronkwo, who happens to be or used to play football around these parts. I actually know that lady, the lady that was
Oh,
the star
really?
of that. Yeah, she used to play football just about 10 minutes away from my house here. She used to come
Wow.
and
interesting.
yeah. Then before the pandemic and after the pandemic, she went to Europe. But yeah, her parents are in Houston. She
Interesting.
yeah, she
Yeah, it
used to
seems
come.
like I think there's quite a few of them, right? There's the other
Yeah,
what's the other lady? The
Alois
all
say,
those yeah, all those young.
yeah,
Alois, yeah, our
Alozie,
fave.
yeah. Yeah, I think H Town is Nigeria's recruiting ground, right? So
Yeah, this is the Abuja of the USA.
yes,
The Abuja of the
Yes,
Lagos
USA.
sir.
Annex.
So we're gonna go into. You can see all these boys here. They're all smiling. You've got Chelsea fans here, so of course they have a lot to smile about. They have a lot to smile about. You um, but I'm gonna try and make it a little bit difficult. Let me try and sour this smile.
You
You
cannot.
know,
We're not gonna chime. Aren't you gonna chime in about the Afcon?
oh, I thought we already did.
Oh, okay.
Have you
Oh,
never?
okay.
Please
It
forgive
was
me. I
no.
apologize.
I actually wanted to give a shout out to the ladies. It was a beautiful display of Nigerian grit against all odds in tough times, and the fact that they were able to overcome a lot. Like, like Nigerian, the setup in Nigeria right now isn't the greatest, and as well as the fact that like people choosing to play for Nigeria, it's more of a pride thing than it is probably furthering your career. When you look at ladies like Plumtree, like she coming back and saying, I have lineage and ancestry to this route, and she's been massively dedicated to the Falcons. And when you look at how many times she flies on, she's British. She could choose to play for some other teams, probably even Ireland or Scotland, or if she can't crack it in the English team, right? But she chose Nigeria, and she's been carrying the culture. She doesn't just look like the white girl in the team. You know what I mean? Like she's actually committed to the team. She gives everything on the pitch. She gives everything off the pitch. If you see also the sisterhood, the way they carry themselves, even when they deal with adversity of funding, we cannot negate the fact that there's challenges in sponsorship of sports in Nigeria, and don't I frown upon having government involved in everything, especially in sports. But we are also not a matured market on seeing sports as potentially a viable commercial entity. You know what I mean? So, but for the girls to be able to keep a level head, protest in dignity, actually have the first lady and other women ministers on their chairing committee to push their funding and getting this far. I mean, it's a testament not just to the team, to the maturity of the ladies and the whole entire NFF too as well in getting things done. So I thought them coming back from 2-0 was just an encompassing great of what those girls have had to go through. So just saying they won, I just hope we give them their flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, amazing, amazing effort, right? Like, I mean, I didn't watch the most of the tournament, but I definitely tuned into that final. And I mean, to come down from 2-0 down, I mean, that's just typical Nigerian story, right? We have to make it dramatic. We have to make it loud. Everybody has to hear us, right? But I mean, no, also
100.
awesome work, in spite of Nigeria. I mean, like people still come ahead and really like excel, and shout
Exactly.
out to Plumtree, like honestly, because you know being who she is and what she is racially, at least presenting anyway,
Yeah.
it takes a lot to be that person to like kind of crack that, to say, you know what, I still feel Niger, even though it's deep down somewhere. I might not
100.
look it
One
outside, but I
hundred
still
percent.
feel,
One
I
hundred
still feel
percent.
Niger, and I'm gonna come and represent. And not just her. I mean, like all the kids who were born in the U.S. They could all
One
try and
hundred.
play for the U.S.
One hundred.
Coming back, and it just goes to speak about the Niger culture, right? It's just there's something about that, like regardless of where you're born, how many generations removed you are, like there's just something about that DNA that you just can't escape. And yesterday was just a perfect, or was it yesterday? Whenever it was just a perfect encapsulation of what
Yeah,
it
it was
is to be
yesterday.
Niger. So yeah, shout out to Super Falcons, man.
Yeah, they're really
Yeah.
inspiring.
Shout out
They're
to the
really
girls.
inspiring. Another thing to add is that it's not even really a choice of saying they did not play. They chose to play for Nigeria because they didn't. They were not good enough to play for better teams. There's really no money playing for Nigeria
Yeah,
either, so they can choose not to play for
Facts.
Nigeria. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
like they're making a fortune. It's not the same as playing for England or playing. There's really no money. There's
Yeah,
no. There's not much sponsorship. There's really nothing coming out of it. So it's
yeah.
them giving. It's them giving
But the
most of
love
it.
you get though, there's something different about that Niger love, man. You just know it just hits different, right? Like
That's
the
right. That's right.
appreciation that you get from, like, just Nigerian fans as general. I mean, I'm not saying like England are not passionate and all these other countries, they're passionate in their own way, but it definitely hits different. Like when when you win for Nigeria, you can just
Yeah,
feel it.
that's
Like
right. That's right. And this girl we mentioned, Plumtree, when it's not also only a case of her adopting Nigeria and embracing the full culture, but of course she is Nigerian. It's not a case of
Yeah,
No,
adopting in
she's
quote
Nigerian.
because she is Nigerian. Her grandparents are Nigerian,
Yep.
but the Nigerian people also embraced her immediately. She started playing for Nigeria. Her followership on Twitter just and
Blew
Instagram
up.
went
Yeah.
boom, it blew up, and
Yeah.
Nigerians really welcomed her with warm embrace, like, "Oh yeah, we're glad you're here," and that's right. That's the thing about the culture. The love you get is really
Yeah.
it kind of pays, it covers, makes up for some of that other stuff you don't get.
and and,
Yeah.
and and again, it's also testament to like our women, the power, their education, the way they've carried themselves, dignity, and everything that they've pushed through. Again, we talk about the girls. I just wanted to touch the encompassing thing. I saw when they had issues. There was a, can't remember which of the players that, the way she even criticized the NFF about like organization, you know, was so eloquent, and not, it wasn't like, it was done in dignity. And then the response from the NFF, the first lady and the women's minister, was impressive. I don't know if they did it for politics, you know what I mean? But the
Yeah.
response was, no, we're gonna, like, why are our girls not getting what is due to them? And also, like, like, why are they stranded? Why is the hotel? I can't remember which hotel room they booked them, and the girls are like, this thing is small. Oh, it trended on Twitter, and they had to move them immediately. You know what I mean, right? So seeing that, like, as you talk, Niger love, Niger wave, Niger, like, not just the can do spirit, but people coming at you and rallying around the girls. Like, this win just for me was special for them. You know,
Yeah.
La
Right, right.
Decima 10, the way they did it, coming from 2-0 down, and the fact that they just chose to do it for Nigeria. So yeah, a lot of inspiration.
Yeah,
My opinion.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
right. That's right. An iconic win, not just in the being the number 10, but also iconic in the way they did it. And
Yeah.
so, congratulations to the Nigerian team again. So we're gonna go straight into Chelsea because I know you guys have been waiting.
Yes, sir.
You've been waiting. You've been licking your lips, man. You're salivating. So, say Chelsea's a team of two faces. You know why I say you guys are a team of two faces? I see all of you smiling, but not too long ago, if I man, about the three of you on here to talk, we'll be fighting because we'll be fighting over many things. There'll be so many things to
Are
fight
you sure
over.
about that? I don't know about that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Okay. Just to put some things in context, let's take it back a few years. Um, we've had manager upheaval. This new manager, when he was hired, a lot of you guys were not on board. You said he wasn't experienced enough. It's not the guy Chelsea should be hiring. Um, the strategy of the owners, their transfer strategy, the fans were not really on board. The media wasn't on board. There's a lot of controversy over it. The financial issues around that transfer strategy. Um, the ownership fight, the quasi public fight, when they're not fighting in public, but we all know what that they're fighting. And all
Yeah.
of these things were playing out in the past 2 to 3 years. At the point, I'll say a year ago, it looked like Chelsea was a team that by this time would be in FFP trouble, and most likely because of FFP fines and maybe being docked points, they would be having to sell, be in serious financial trouble because of their style of ownership. I'm sorry I'm taking this long to elaborate, but I wanted to explain what we're talking about here. So when I said
Yeah.
Chelsea is
Explain
like
why
a
you're
team of two
confused.
faces,
Why are you confused?
yeah,
Upon
well,
all this
yeah,
Well, let's
problem,
say you. Well, let's
yeah,
say you. Why are you
exactly.
confused? Me, I don't call you.
upon all these problems, how did they keep doing
A
it?
lot of
How
the
did they keep
confusion,
doing it? How did they
a lot
keep
of the
winning? How did
confusion
they
is
keep?
external.
Yeah, like it's like what is
We're
the
children
what
of
is the
grace,
source?
man.
Because you people are, because whatever source this juice is coming from, it seems to be really
Yeah.
good juice. So,
No, we're children of grace. We're children of grace. Let me go ahead and jump in, right?
mhm,
So like if we take it back, yeah, I think Chelsea has always been a chaos club, right? I think as a Chelsea fan, you just have to just like accept and embrace it, right? We're very non-conventional in everything, right? Take it back to the Abramovich years. Take it back even before Abramovich, right? Me, I've been here since like the late 90s, right? So I was here during the Ken Bates days. Even in those days, I mean, I think Ken Bates bought the club for £1 or something like
Or,
that, right?
yeah.
So like, I mean, that was like Chelsea's always been a non-conventional club, kind of being like an outlier there. And we had the Abramovich years, awesome time, right? Great to be a Chelsea fan. If you were there before Abramovich, is absolutely ridiculous, and which is why, like, I think for me, like taking some of the down years. I still remember, like I said, I mean, I still have those memories, right? I'm old enough to remember those late '90s and where we were coming sixth and fifth, and I think we came third with Viali as player manager. So thinking back to those days, there's still it doesn't seem that long ago. But we had an awesome ride with Roman. It was an awesome time, won all these things. But if we're being honest, I mean, like that business model and that way of running things was really coming to a close. I mean, FFP, which don't even get me started. I think FFP is the dumbest idea ever. I mean, like if you have a business, why is one person going to tell me how much I can invest in my business? I mean, it's stupid. It's a solution looking for a problem, right? They want to protect against clubs going bankrupt, but I mean, come on, let's be honest. Like, is any Premier League team really going bankrupt? If any team was going to go bankrupt, it would have been Chelsea because Abramovich had to write off 1.2 billion pounds or whatever in loans just so that the club could be sold, right? And obviously, nothing happened to us. So if you really look at it and look at where we're at, we've not really competed for the league since 2017. We've won a lot of cups, which is just the Chelsea spirit, right? Like you write us off at your own peril. We're always going to be a good cup team. But even before Abramovich, we're always a pretty good cup team. But if you really look at the competing in the league, that business model that Abramovich was running, like come to its natural conclusion. FFP came in. Man City came with their national, with their, state-backed funding and all these things, and is hard to compete. So we needed a new model. We needed a new way to run things. So I was always down for the ownership model. There's a few things that maybe I disagree with, in terms of I feel like, yes, you need that stable spine and then you build all the young kids around it. But the ideas they came with, I was always on board from day one. So I'm not one of those Chelsea fans that like were kicking the ownership. I mean, I've always been kind of rooting for them. Like we say in Nigeria, like follow who no road. I mean, look, man, follow the smart money. These guys have made way too much money. They've been way too successful in their lives to just be a complete failure when it comes to Chelsea, right? So I was always down for the ownership model. We can talk a little bit about that, but I'll let Dada chime in on his thoughts. So.
Man, honestly, dude, like there's nothing else to add. So when the list of discussion points came up, and the number one point is, as the owner's been vindicated, I think of vindication as you committed a crime, and people are now looking
Yeah,
for evidence to
yeah,
support that you are innocent. So I think I would not even frame that question that way because there's no point for vindication. To Waller's point, and I wish
let,
Waller
let
was
me
in a lot of
hold on. I want to add
yeah,
some meat to you so you can chew this as well as you're going along. Vindication at this point is they don't know what they're doing. When this guy
mm,
but
came
who
and
said that though? Like
huh?
so if you
When he
look at a
came
lot
and
of
signed
the things,
Modric and
yeah.
made those
So
first errors, and then was giving people 7-year contracts,
yeah.
spent $1 billion. Chelsea
let's
were
talk
And
about
paying.
that. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
see,
so
so let's
there's
start
a
off with the
reason for
beginning.
saying bringing
Yeah,
in vindication.
but
So
but a
go
lot of
ahead.
those, a lot of the claims a lot of people make is what you call a big nothing burger, right? So you look at the decisions that the owners have made. So when private equity buy a business, they buy businesses that are underperforming, not properly managed, and there's upside. So if a private equity is buying your business, they're not buying it because you are running a perfect business with zero upside,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
They bought Chelsea because Chelsea was not properly managed, and there was an opportunistic buy due to all the sanctions that happened.
And the Premier League as a whole was undervalued, right?
And the Premier League as a whole was undervalued, so there is opportunity. So I think to just come out and say, "Oh, you know what, the owners that bought Chelsea did not know what they're doing," that is a false statement to begin with. They bought this club what in 22? That's 3 years ago,
Yeah,
right? Most PE funds are like 5 to 7 years, so we're not even 50% into
exactly.
the fund life. So it's way too early to say, oh, you know what, these guys did not know what they're doing. So start off with what are decisions that they made. Okay, long-term contracts. I mean, that is a loop. I can guarantee you now going forward, that is a loop with a lot of clubs are going to exploit.
He's been
Exactly.
close,
I mean,
no?
Haaland already got 10 years contract, right?
Exactly. Because the truth, and to be very honest, to Wally's point again, one of the things that American companies do very, very well is financial engineering, right? And if you look at the EPL, their accounting standards, the FPL, the PFL rule, and all those rules is actually very, very backwards from an accounting perspective. So they had a very inefficient system that could be taken advantage of. So that's point number one. And
That I want you to elaborate on that thing because I'm so sorry, bro. I think that's fucking bullshit, and I'll tell you why.
Hey,
When
language.
another person, when another person that is not Western pulls this shit that these guys did, now I'm in support of it too because it's my club. Don't get me wrong. If an outsider pulls this same thing, I can assure you 200 laws that they will pass to make
no, sorry,
sure Chelsea doesn't get away
put
with it.
what? Put what? What are you saying?
No, because you're saying the accounting is backwards, and for me, I want to understand. Everybody has made that argument. I think there's a bias here. There's a cultural bias here.
It's not an
But
argument. Go read the
No.
report of
no, it's not
like
an argument. I'm coming. I'm coming. Let me articulate. Let me articulate my. Let me articulate. Let me articulate my.
I'll tell you
Let
this
me
now.
articulate my disagreement. Let me articulate my disagreement. I am for whatever they have to do to, as long as they're not breaking any laws, right? But I'm also not naive on the fact that if it were a Russian or Chinese guys that came up with all this financial engineering, that there wouldn't be laws passed for this. I personally believe there's an actual bias towards anyone that is not Western. The fact that that is using their accounting is backwards. We um
We can't hear you.
Sorry, we
Sorry,
lost
we
you.
can't hear you.
We lost you.
Oh,
We've lost you. Uh,
Now you're even
but
flipping.
anyways, so
So yeah, go
sorry.
ahead,
Well,
Ada.
right, so I was just gonna say 100%. I agree
oh
with. I
sorry, yeah, sorry.
we couldn't hear you for a minute, but go ahead, Dada.
Oh sorry. Go ahead, Dada.
No, sorry. I was just saying that. Me, I agree 100% with Wale to where like when the owners came in, I was actually quite happy for two reasons. One, it takes us away from that geopolitical risk. So when you have like Russian owners and Middle Eastern owners, you always have a geopolitical risk that is associated with your club. And if you look at the Chelsea owners group now, you have Americans, you have European, it's a consortium. So you're able to spread that risk across. And to the other point of, the owners were infighting. One thing I'll tell people, and I hate to play I come from a finance background, is when you have multiple owners, there's when you have an operating agreement between multiple owners, they're constantly negotiating. So a lot of what you guys saw in the public was essentially just different groups trying to trade each other on different points on an operating agreement. That's all it is. They know, like, hey, look, man, we'll put money into this business. We're not going anywhere. But guess what? Todd Bowley might want some things in the operating agreement that Clearlake may not want, the other guys may not want. And they're probably just going through a renegotiation cycle, right? And that is where it appeared chaotic. But behind closed doors, they're aligned. And the reason why they're aligned is there's just too much money at stake for people to not have their house in order. So
Yeah,
that's point one. And then the last point I'd like to make is once again, when you're a PE shop, when you're buying a company, you cannot afford to copy and paste previous models. People are not giving you billions of dollars to do what has been done before. You essentially have to be disruptive, right? You have to take a new approach. That's how you're going to generate returns. So when the new owners came in and I saw the moves they're making, I was happy because, well, okay, this is new. They're actually doing something different. And they're also trying to be more sustainable. Roman owned Chelsea for 19 years, and a lot of what Roman exploited was just overcapitalization. Roman had access to way more capital, and also to Roman was not chasing profitability. For all you can say, there was some element of image management with it. But the issue with a thing like that is you cannot do that for another 20 years. It worked for the first 10 years. And the reason why you knew Chelsea was declining was we did not compete for the title. We're winning the cups there and there. For you to show that you're a sustainable, long-term, well-run club, you do need to compete for the title because competing for the title it doesn't involve statistical anomaly because it's 38 games. You have a succession plan. So you can those who know you can start to see the operational decline within Roman, but we're masking it by winning titles. So for
exactly.
guys, they cannot afford to lose money, they cannot afford to lose capital. So they have to build a business that can sustain 5 years, 10 years, where they can exit. And that is the big difference between what they're trying to do and what Roman did. So that is my point. So to your point is there was never any vindication on my part. I was always good with the things that we're doing. Tuku
Yeah.
had to go. And then when they brought in Maresca, I was actually one of the friends. I was like, "Oh, nice! This looks good. Let's see what's gonna happen." And for me,
Yeah.
I just never had that issue. I think Wale and I are aligned on it, and we're starting to see some of the results of the work we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Now, I mean, vindication doesn't mean that, oh, it's been a success. I'm not ready to call it a success, right?
it's too early to say.
We're Chelsea FC, right? Chelsea should be
Yeah,
competing and winning the
exactly.
Champions League, winning the
Totally.
Premier League. So I'm not the vindication is not, oh, these guys they've done everything they're supposed to do. But in terms of, are they on the right path? Do I see growth? I mean, 12-6, fourth. That's
That
progression.
is growth.
However
Yeah.
you want, however you want to like mask
Oh,
it and
wait, wait,
everything.
wait, wait,
That's
wait, wait,
progression.
wait, wait. Can you guys see my face?
I know
Can you
you're
see the
looking
faces I'm
confused.
making?
Yeah, if we confuse people, it's
Because,
okay. Don't
because,
worry.
because you're going with Chelsea FC. We should, dude. You just won the first, the biggest prize money
Yeah,
trophy in
we're
club football
champions of
history.
the
You
entire
just won it.
galaxy. Yeah, no
That
doubt.
is a big
But
success. You just
it's
won
a
a
big
trophy
success.
that
But
most likely, hold
again,
on. You just won a trophy that most likely in the next 2, 3 iterations of it will be the biggest club trophy competition in the world. The only
yeah,
reason why the Champions League would compete with is because Champions League is annual, and so it makes comparatively enough money when you check over a 4-year circle. But
yeah. I
when you
mean,
talk about price per game,
No, you're not
talking about
wrong.
no,
We're
you're
just
no,
trying
not
to be
wrong.
modest here.
I'm
Yeah,
just trying to
we're not.
understand
You're
where.
not going to get
No,
me
he's
to
not being
diminish
modest
the
if he's telling me
champions,
that's not big
the
success.
World Club
I
Cup.
don't.
Yeah, we're
I
not the
don't.
ones that are going to diminish that. What I'm just going to say real quick, Idris, before you
Mhm.
drop it, what I'm just going to say about that is, again, back to Dada's point. We've always won cups. Even before this, like Chelsea, even before Roman, we've always done good cup runs. We've won FA Cups, we've won European Cups. Winning cups is one thing, right? Like winning cups is just that us against the world mentality. We're always, but even when you look at the years we won the Premier League, Chelsea was not competitive. I mean, the years we won the Champions League, Chelsea was not competitive in the Premier League. Winning over 38 games,
Nope.
that's a true reflection of like, yes, you
That
are
is true. I
truly
agree.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
a,
I
a
agree.
good team. And
yeah,
Chelsea has
yeah,
not
yeah,
been that
yeah,
since
yeah,
2017,
yeah,
if we're
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
honest.
Yes.
So, Idris, over to you. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna add that like vindication. I think to an extent, yes, it is some form of vindication, and you can spin it and whatever you want to do. But I think it's, to be honest with you, there's vindication because yes, I'll agree and submit to the fact that if you look at a fan-owned club in today's Premier League market or sports market, the way Roman ran it is not sustainable. It's a fact, right? Because he's a fan. Where I push
Exactly.
back is the image thing. I just think it's, if you have money and you want to do stuff, you start buying things like Formula One, you start buying things like dressage horses, you start buying things like clubs. It's what it is. People can call it image washing or not. I don't subscribe to that because there's so many things about that image washing, moral value rubbish they bring into sports. That is never fair, regardless of where you're coming from. Because again, to Dada's point, he likes the consortium that allows us as a club kind of immune to this global politics that ensues. You know what I mean? Which I like. I like about the PE guys. But do we, if we're talking about sports and values and the true meaning of sports, should that even be a thing? Because why I kicked back against that part that like, oh, financially they were backwards, but later they're disruptive. It's like, no, the Americans get away with stuff, which is okay. It just happens to be my own guy that's getting away with stuff. I don't care. I'm just being very bluntly honest about it. And they're innovative because when Roman came in, everybody said Chelsea broke football. You remember that, right? And everybody started spending. Some people spent oblivion and left. Roman maintained this stuff. Later, they came after Roman is laundering money. They came after Roman using state funds. The Qatari guys came in, same pressure, same pressure. So for me, I think the Americans have just found a better way that is palatable to a lot of people to consume. That's just what I
And
think,
this
and
is the
it's.
largest private
Maybe,
equity market in the world, man.
I
Let, let,
understand
let,
where you're
let,
coming
maybe,
from.
let me tell you
Dada,
one
Dada,
thing. Sorry, let
Yeah.
me make one point.
Mhm.
So let me give you a scenario that I know, for example. So a few years back, I said this in the group that Chelsea are looking to sell the women's group. I knew a guy that knew the associate that was working on that deal. Essentially, they flew like 6 guys from the US to just peel through docs. You know what I'm saying? In a way that like the guy was like, look, you guys peel through this, and I want you guys to give me what are we missing? All I'm just trying to say is this: if you throw enough money and skill set at something, like you can solve almost any problem. And what I'm saying, another thing you need to keep in mind is that these guys have been doing this for like many years.
Yes.
So while like EPL, as good as EPL is, when it comes to like marketing sports, like making money from sports, you're not building the American market. Like the entire sports market in the US is curated to make money. You know, and like then you now add that appetite plus private equity guy who will throw their grandmother off a cliff for $1. And that combination, man, it's just it's hard
You're
to
not
beat.
you're not wrong that 100%, because the part that like I now agree with you was you first said something which is, oh, Chelsea, I don't know, but I paraphrased, I'm not really quoting, like Chelsea, you said private equity guys don't buy assets because they're perfectly run, right?
Yes.
And Chelsea
It
was not.
can
And I said, no, that part I don't agree, because Chelsea was just poised to be what they want to use it for. It had all the potentials for them to do what they wanted. It wasn't bad. It was a massively good asset. If it was a substandard asset that they needed to bring up, they could have gone and buy Brighton. They didn't go to Brighton now. Do you understand? They knew this was a
Yeah,
massive
I
juggernaut.
mean,
You know,
no,
they
I
could
think
have
you
just
guys
gone to
are saying the
Brighton.
same thing. You guys
Yeah,
are
yeah.
saying the same thing. I think they came in knowing that Chelsea was an undervalued asset. If you
There
look
you
at
go. There
just
you go. There you
generally,
go.
like generally, not even just Chelsea, just if you look at the entire Premier League, right? Well, Man United is probably the most valuable club in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Man United is not touching any NFL team. Who is watching the NFL? It's only in the US, really. Let's be
that is
honest.
true. That is true.
There's a global market here for the Premier League, and the Premier League is not yet even touching anywhere near the valuation that it should be in terms of the amount of money that it could potentially make. And that's what these guys see. That look, if we go in there and we buy one of the legacy teams, and we
Keyword
we
legacy.
build it back up. We build it back up and bring it up here. In 10 years, when they're going to make that exit, the entire Premier League is probably going to be better valued and it's going to be making a lot more money. Now, where that private equity world and us as fans coincide is that the beauty of sports is the way you become a high value club, which is what the private equity guys want, is you got to win. I mean, let's be honest.
Facts.
Like Real Madrid is who they are because of all the things they've won.
Things
Man
about, yeah.
United is who they were because they had their foot on our neck for years throughout the 90s, right? That's what it is. Even though Man United hasn't won anything since whenever they won last, that legacy is still there, right? So for them, for this private equity group to be able to realize their investment and where they actually want it to be, the club has to win. And that's why I think a lot of fans, they come here, oh, these guys are only interested in making money. They just came
No,
because,
but
but
Wale,
our interests are aligned. The only way they
now
make
wait.
money is raising the valuation of Chelsea.
Ah,
That's
but
how
Wale,
private
wait,
equity makes
Wale,
its
wait,
money.
Wale, wait. I want to agree with you because rational and educated, that makes sense. We've seen other people come up with such models and just you leverage, like United, for example, over leverage the club to pull out
Yes,
money.
I
That's
mean,
that, that
yes,
that's
I
not
mean
private.
that's
I'm
the
not saying that's how private.
yes.
I'm coming. I,
Hold on. The United case is it's two different things. It's
Yeah,
actually a case of
yeah.
doing something and it was working, and then when it was time to change, you didn't change. It wasn't the over leveraging because
I mean, the over
yeah,
leveraging is a big
ironically,
point too, right? They
yeah,
they came in.
yeah,
I
but
think those guys are
the
more of
same
a
thing that
family office, right? They just acquired the assets to be able to build their other businesses, right? Todd Bowley is in the market of sports. He owns the
no, but wait,
Lakers. He
but
owns
wait,
the
but wait, but
Dodgers. He's
Wale,
in the market of sports.
wait.
He
No
realizes,
APC,
look,
Wale, no propaganda. Me, hold up.
oh,
I'm
I
not
don't know
saying you.
him. I didn't say that.
I'm not
There's no
saying you are
problem.
wrong. I know propaganda. I'm not saying you are wrong
Mhm.
until we see the end result. We are all
Yes,
just
and that
judging
was
these
what I
guys.
said,
And
right?
for me, why I think
I'm not ready to play this
why
game
me I'm
yet.
even saying that they are vindicated. The honest truth is, when they came in, Dada said they are disruptive. most times people don't understand what you're doing, right? Yes, Wale, I agree with you that in the business of sports, they run the Dodgers. They have experience in other things. I'm not disputing that. They have wealth of experience in making money off assets. Nobody's disputing that. They came into a world where they did not really have football people. They're not going to. They understand business.
Yeah,
They ran
yeah,
into a world that is vicious. I mean, Todd Bowley, in his own words, had come out and apologized to fans that we made a mistake the first year. We're making corrections and changes. So they are learning as they are going.
yeah.
They
We
are
can
fast learners.
absolutely
He
talk
also
about the mistakes. I mean,
exactly. He
lots of
also
those,
said
lots
he
of those.
also said he also said that they because this was in Dubai, World Economic whatever forum that they're doing. They asked him what's the difference between only the Dodgers and Chelsea. He said this is the one business or asset he has that's right in his face. Do you understand? So
I
think about
mean,
somebody who is very successful and he's saying like this particular thing is hot. Like and now I understand what it's about. You get so you can't negate the fact that when they came in, that America like oh yeah we got it can do it could rub off a complete in a different world. You know, it will rub off people like, yo, do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're doing? And they made a mistake.
I
But
think
you know, when I bought in, when I bought in, I won't lie, I was one of the skeptics that was one of the believers from the beginning. I'm not going to come here and I was a skeptic. And when Enzo Maresca came, I was like, we're not ready because I don't know these guys. And the last taste we've had about people coming to raise money in a club, I've always taken the club and dumped the problem with the fans, right? That's the honest truth, aside the Arab guys. But when these guys made mistakes first year and the turnaround of how they were able to flip players, that to me, that was mad. I became
yeah,
a believer immediately. I was like, yo, these guys are good at turning around things. And they did it again the second year. They don't care. Even now that we've won the Conference League, the way they're going about it, if Chelsea spends 1 billion on a player, I know they're going to find a way to make that 1 billion back. So I'm a
yeah.
believer right now because they've
I think
they've literally proven to us to shut up and watch them do their thing. You know what I mean? And they're
I
going to
think I
win
want to come
titles.
in here. I want to come in here and say this that there's a mistake I think fans make with this. We're waiting to see how it plays out. See how what plays out.
Almost.
What
See,
it
it
takes
can,
to win. We all know statistically, historically, whatever way you want to look at it, the data is there, the analysis is there. We all know what it takes to win titles. We all know what it takes to win the league. It's having the best team, having the best squad, having the most consistent team, having the most consistent squad with a manager that's able to get the best out of this team. This is how it's always been done. Ownership is important, but there are a lot of owners with different styles that have done it. It's never about one style. And then this thing of saying, let's see how it plays out. The only thing that's going to play out is that the bully, Blue, is it Blue Capital? That's the name, correct?
Blueco,
Yeah.
Blueco.
Yeah, Blueco is the holding company. Yeah,
Okay. So
you're
they
talking about
will
Clearlake.
but Clearlake,
clearly,
yeah,
yeah, they
Yeah.
will clearly, yeah, they will either the next thing they can do after this is win the title. That's the only thing, or win the Champions League. Because it's about if it's about maintaining success, it's about getting to the Champions League, which they've done.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
about maintaining success. And then the other thing is go back and look at all these other guys that were successful. Within a few years, we could see what they were about. Even if they hadn't done it, we could see what Abu Dhabi was about. We knew
yeah,
Abu Dhabi was going to win the title eventually. We could see what they
yeah.
were about. We could see what Liverpool FSG was about.
yeah.
We could see it after a few years. We can see what
But
they're
that's
about.
true. No, you're right. That's true.
Yeah, you
So
can
what
see
about
it.
okay? What about Brighton and Arsenal?
You can see what they're about. They
You can
okay,
see what
they
they're
will
about.
win
Those are
it.
two. Those are two
They will
different
win
things.
it.
I
You
mean,
know that
Brighton.
But
winning
they're
the
making
Champions.
Brighton.
profits now. They're making
That's two
profits.
different
Yes,
models.
but
That's two
but
different
Yeah,
models. You
Brighton.
only
should never
one
expect
team,
Brighton to
only
win the
one team
title.
can win the title. And the
Yeah,
champ,
yeah.
the,
You
the,
can't.
the league is
Yeah,
very competitive. You can't blame
yeah.
Kroenke
That's
for
true.
not winning the
You can
title.
do
You
everything right.
You
cannot.
can do
I
Which
everything
mean,
Arsenal has
right.
done. You
you
can do
Yeah.
cannot.
everything right, which Arsenal has done, and still not win the title.
We
So
we
like,
Fair
can
enough.
banter. I mean, banter is one thing, but like if you
yeah,
really want to talk
if you
facts,
really
then
Really
want
look
to,
I
at
think
it.
we
want
want
to
to
But
talk
to be,
evaluate
facts there.
Arsenal team, the
I'm
fact
not disputing you, gentlemen. But I'm also saying you could at least appreciate the apprehension of Chelsea fans coming from a. And I know that you guys are right, and Wally are right. They're like, okay, see where the club is going. It's not sustainable. But people trusted Roman. You understand? There was this belief
Yeah,
he had the finger on the pulse. If it was not going right, you're out.
yeah,
You know.
yeah,
So now people are trusting Todd Bowley. You know those news
But
about
even that, let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. And like we're Chelsea fans, we love it. We love Roman. Roman is the goat. Regardless of
forever
what
the
Chelsea
goat,
does
forever
going
the goat,
over, is
forever the
forever
goat.
the GOAT. Now, if we're going to be honest, the hiring and firing model actually held us back. Let's be honest. If we look at what Man City, Chelsea was never that dominant. We're going to win three on the bounce, Man United, Man City style. And the reason for that was because Roman ran it like how I probably would run it. If this guy pisses me off today, we are gone tomorrow. What's wrong with you? He ran it as a fan, right? But you have to take emotions out of these things. Chelsea could have been that juggernaut that won
Yeah,
four on the bounce.
that's true.
But then Ancelotti wins, you fire him the next season.
Yeah,
This guy wins, you fire him the next season. It, all
it
those
became a
firings,
yo-yo.
we were here for the ride, but we were not able to build that juggernaut. The first step is you take a club that was in the top six, top four, you win the league. The next level is let's win two on the bounce. That's what Liverpool is trying to do now. They won last season. They're trying to put their foot on your neck, man, for the next 6 years,
Yeah,
right? They're
yeah.
trying to buy everybody, build that dynasty. Chelsea never really got to that level because of the FIFA nature that our guy was running it. It was fun. It was great. It was a great ride. But look, man, if we're going to
That's a
be honest,
FIFA nature.
it's time. It's time now. Like it's time to be a serious club. Like I was a kid then too, right? I was younger. Now I'm older. I'm an older guy now. So
No, but
I can see the
you guys are
you know
right on you guys are right. I mean, I spoke about it from a Nigerian perspective too about how we treat sports and the finance. So there's it's just kind of like a nice segue into like Chelsea's future, its past, its present, and what its future will look like. Right. So I agree with that part. Like they seem they seem to be convincing people like me who are skeptics that we're here for the long run, and we're not just here for the long run for the profits. We're also here not just to make profit, but to win.
yeah.
You know,
They
like
need to win to make profits.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
They're here for the
beauty of this
profits, but they need
model,
to win
right?
to make
Of the
profits.
private equity thing is like
It's
for
the
you
problem that
to
Manchester United is
yeah.
having. That's why I was saying the Manchester United problem was never over leveraging, because in the beginning they were over leveraged, but they were pumping in enough money to buy players and keep winning. But once they stopped winning, they couldn't keep pumping in as
90,
much money as they needed to come back. And the longer it
Exactly.
went, it became a sore. That's what kind of happens sometimes with this kind of problem. But if you keep winning, it gets good. But let me say something so that we can wrap this up here. There's a fear fans have. It's even nascent here. You guys right now you don't express it because things are good, but I can hear it. It's like okay, before I round up, there's a lot of comments popping in. Let me take these comments because some of them are just popping in right now. We had a Ken there, they say awesome. Then Ayo says, why do we think what Blueco and Clearlake why do we think that is what Blueco and Clearlake are trying to do? Thought they were that they're trying to build a dynasty. I don't think anybody here is saying that they're trying to build a dynasty. I think they're saying that they're trying
But
to
that's the easiest way for you to maximize your profit though, by building
Exactly.
a
yeah.
dynasty.
I mean, that's why I say our interests are aligned as fans and as them as a private equity group. They have this guy, that Swiss dude. That dude doesn't even like soccer. He doesn't care. Like he doesn't really care about the
No,
game. But he wants maximum return. For us as fans, we want maximum winning. This is the perfect world where everything aligns. For them to get maximum
Fine.
return means us doing maximum winning. If Chelsea goes
yeah,
on and wins the league 4 years in a row, when they exit, they're exiting smiling, right? At that point. So
yeah.
that's why I feel like if they may not come out, Todd Bowley might not come out and say, I want to build Chelsea as a dynasty because he's not talking as a fan, right? But we know where the private equity is. We're maximizing that dollar, man. That's like that's the whole point of private equity. And for them to really maximize that, they need to build a dynasty. That's just the bottom line. Like it's not coming top four does not move the needle for them at all. Like winning one league here, winning one random cup here and there does not necessarily move the needle for them. What moves the needle for them is Chelsea is a team that has won 3, 4 on the bounce, always there in the European competitions. the stadium situation is now on par with, like, those are the things that move the needle for them, and all those things align with what we want as fans. So that's why I feel like in this particular case, this is not the Man United case. Man United, those guys came in to use Man United as an asset to raise money
to
for
make
other
money for all
things.
that.
Fund on that businesses.
No,
That is
no,
not the
actually,
model here.
no. That's not why they actually came, because it's the. I'm sorry to be the one to praise the
I mean, correct
Glazers.
me if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't
Mm,
know a
mm,
lot about
mm,
Man United, but it seems to
Yeah.
me the whole leverage buyout thing is Man
Mm.
United is an asset that has a high valuation. I can get, like, for lack of a better word, loans and money for other things, loaning against
And just
this huge
dividend it
asset,
out.
which
No,
is
Dividend it
Manchester
no,
out. Dividend
United.
no,
it out.
no.
You
But
know,
if you're
so
buying that, and then you're doing that, you're getting the loans. The loans are high interest. You have to be able to pay those loans, unless you're going to pay. You have to pay the interest. When you're borrowing like 600 million, you're paying for the
Yeah, but they had
something
enough cash flows to
something.
service the debt.
No, this was what they
exactly. I mean,
saw.
let's
This was
not
what
turn
they
this
saw
into
and did.
an accounting
But just
discussion,
quickly,
but
what they
Yeah.
simply did was they saw that this business was undervalued as well. They turned around the what's it called, the revenue generating formula for the club. The club went from making about $200 million a year to making $700 million a year under them. Then a lot other clubs started copying what they did. They were the ones that started doing deals with everybody. They were doing record deals.
yeah.
They basically leveraged that. But now that everybody else is doing it, and then the cost of football has caught up with them. Before, when they had that financial advantage, they had that extra money to play, because that was
Yeah.
what they were playing, banking on. They saw this rise in money in football, and they actually did it well. That's what Woodward was alluding to.
Roman came in with Russian money and they could not match. They
They
just
came in at
Chelsea.
the same time with Roman. They came in around the same time with Roman.
Yeah,
They came in
but
after Roman.
the thing was Manchester United has been like a very household name compared to like a Chelsea that was a smaller market, right?
Yeah. Look, I don't know.
Hmm.
Let's not take this into a
Let's
Man
know. Yeah,
United
it's
conversation. I think at the bottom line is just, I think to me, I look at the Glazers as a completely different motivation for going to buy Manchester United.
yeah,
I feel
they
like these guys are coming in realizing, look, Chelsea, and don't forget, Todd Bowley tried to buy Chelsea before the whole drama with Ukraine. I mean, probably, I don't know if you guys heard that, but he actually
yeah,
tried to
I
buy it
hear
off
about it.
Roman
Yes.
back in
Hmm.
the day because they saw the vision, right? They saw the thing that, like, what they could achieve with Chelsea, a London club, West London for that matter, like, with the valuation that you can get from a club like Chelsea. So I think the motivations are completely different. Have they done everything right? Of course not. I mean, and that's even going to go into one of the conversations that we're going to talk about in terms of what do Chelsea need to win the league. Because I hear all this experience and all this nonsense, forgetting that Todd Bowley came in and bought what's that dude's name? Koulibaly, bought Sterling, bought all these supposedly experienced guys, and it didn't necessarily work out, right? So yes, they've definitely made mistakes. But when I zoom out, to me, the way I look at it is it's like the stock market, right? You see like daily fluctuations up and down and everything. But when you
And you
actually
see the
zoom out,
trend.
when you take a macro
You can
view,
see a trend. You can see the
you can
real
see the
trend.
trend. You can see
Yeah.
where the
Hmm.
trend is going. So that's why I'm not ready to say in terms of vindication means, oh, I said something and what I said has now happened. Everybody else is wrong. We can come back here in a year's time and me and Dada are like, all right, we're completely like wrong on this. But in terms of what I've seen, in terms of the trend, in terms of what thought was right, in terms of what they needed to do, at this point, sitting here today, I have to say they're on their way to vindication. Now, I think the problem is when they're going to exit. That's actually what I'm actually a little bit worried about. Is when they're going to exit because these guys are going to be gone in 10 years. Roman said they couldn't sell the club for 10 years. You already know the first day they can, they're probably going to be out of here. I think 2030 is when they're going to have a big renegotiation of all the TV rights and all this stuff, right? So there's probably going to be a big trigger event happening around 2030. When they exit, who the hell are they going to sell us to? That's not now what I'm actually a little bit more worried about down the
I
road.
actually have a theory
But I
on that.
feel as of today, our interests are completely aligned in terms of they need a club that is going to hit the maximum valuation that it can. The only way they do that is by winning. Top four doesn't cut it. So where we're at right now, in terms of where we're going, I like it. So
Yeah,
that's
and
my take.
it's a good thing I'm actually the one hosting this, and I know I keep bringing this to a Manchester United comparison because there's something to me looking because I followed the financial stuff of Manchester United for a while too, because I used to be so worried about it, but what the Glazers were doing, and then the minute I took my eyes off the ball, that was when things started going down. And what I'm comparing it to is I don't know why people get so negative with this because I feel that even with the Glazers being the worst side, no matter what fans what an owner does, the worst they can do is get a club relegated. If an owner doesn't get a club relegated, that club is still going to be in the league. If the club is still going to be in the league and it's a blue chip club like Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, they're okay. The worst, a new owner, if a new competitor owner comes, they only need 5 good years. Now, so like for example, we see the new owners of Man City and Chelsea through Abramovich, they've built these two clubs to be part of that cycle. So I don't worry too much about what Blue Lake or Clear Lake or whoever comes after them does, because I feel as long as the club doesn't get relegated, they'll be fine. Because somebody else will come and say, okay, I'll buy off all the debt, and they're good unless
Yeah,
they
yeah.
own
I mean,
own more
no,
debt
no,
than
definitely they're
yeah,
gonna sell us. But what are they gonna
yeah.
sell us to? Do I want to become another portfolio company of PIF? No. I mean, that's not
Yeah,
look at
that's
Newcastle. Like, I mean, like it's not that's not exactly what I want to be. So the question is, and but when they sell, the motivation is not gonna be like what Roman did, right? Roman wanted to make sure that he sold us to the company to the owner that was
The
going to
right to
make sure that we continue to be successful to as a fan level. These guys, I don't think are necessarily going to care what happens when they exit Chelsea after that, right? So that's why I'm saying further down the road, that's the problem with private equity, right? They're going to sell to the highest bidder. Now, does the highest bidder can we go and get a Glazer type owner? That's a possibility
You're cool.
in
You're
in
cool.
we can do that. So that's what worries me about the private equity model is like these guys are not going to put those god things in, say I'm not selling to the highest bidder, I'm selling to who has the long-term interest of Chelsea at heart. These guys are going to sell to whoever brings the most money, which opens us to a Glazer, a who was that, a Ricketts family or whatever that was trying to
Hicks
buy
and
us during
Gillette
this time.
in
Hicks and
Liverpool.
Gillette, all these kind
Hmm.
of guys, right? That are just going to come and strip the assets as they can in soccer, right? So
Yeah.
that's my worry, but we still have years to worry about that. Let's win first. If we're worrying about that in a few years, that means that some good things have
that means
happened
we're in a
along
good
the way.
place.
So
I think
Okay.
what will probably happen from an asset sale is they would. I think football is going to where they'll probably IPO some, or they'll probably sell some to a some other consortium, some sort of like sport consortium, or maybe what
Guys,
they do is they
if
bifurcate.
they IPO your club, start praying. Because that's how
yeah,
Manchester
we I
United
Yeah,
people
don't
pray.
we
Yeah.
don't
I
want that.
mean, but here's one thing that can happen though is like you might start having this thing where you start to bifurcate assets where the stadium is owned by a different entity. But to
We
Wally's
don't
point,
want all that.
let's
That's not.
let's see what happens when the time comes. To be honest, I'm not even thinking that far out. I'm just more like when
Okay.
we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. So
Okay, so we're gonna jump now. We're gonna jump there. I'll take two questions and then we're going to the next one because we're really beaten this one up. By the way, Wallet Ayo said that PIF. He meant to say. I mean, PIF is invested in Clearlake, so you guys are really
that,
Yeah,
that's
like
that's
not how it
PIF
works.
kind of
No,
owns
yes, they
it's a
Chelsea
are,
different
but
too.
I
fund.
mean,
That's not how it
they
works.
own 5%.
I
Nobody
think
in
he's just. I
No,
think
PIF.
he's just
but
trolling
they're
you
not
guys.
even. Sorry, let's just make a point real quick.
Mhm.
They're not in the fund that bought Chelsea. I don't know if folks
They
know that.
yeah,
It's a
they
different
yeah,
fund, and those funds are pretty much different entities. They don't even
exactly.
commingle
So
at all.
private equity, just quick.
Mhm.
Private equity firms have individual funds that you can buy
That's
Yeah,
right.
into as an investor, right? The Saudi group are in different funds
different fund.
outside the Blueco thing. And
Yeah,
even within that, they only have 5% of the fund. That's no owner can have more than 5%. I don't really want to go into all this. I just happen to know this because it's kind of in my other regular life. These types of information just kind of like come across. But like, let's not make this a private equity conversation. But at the end of the day, PIF is invested in
Wait, let's
any
not
private
let's not
equity.
make
PIF
it
probably
let's not make it
owns
a private
PIF
equity
probably owns the
conversation.
house that we are in
55
right
minutes
now.
after it's been a private equity conversation.
So PIF probably owns the house that we are in right now. You'd be surprised.
PIF is involved in everything. You
Involved in
cannot,
everything.
whether they are up front or whether they are in the
Honestly,
background,
no.
they
The
I
house
own
mean,
that we are in right
everything.
now, but they might even own 5% of
You
it.
don't know. I mean, it's very possible. It's very
all right.
possible. So, like, let's leave that one alone. PIF own all of us at this
Okay,
point.
For
So
real,
let's
at
we're
this
just.
gonna be
point.
the next one. We're gonna be quick. This time we're gonna be more structured because we spent most of the podcast, but it's been fun. So we didn't waste time, but we spent a lot of time on the ownership thing, and it was a fun conversation, and it was good to let it flow. So now we're gonna talk about what Chelsea needs to be a title contender. This is gonna be quick. We only have a couple of minutes for each guest. And then after that, we're going to talk about, because I want us to talk about these two together so we can round up. Which of Chelsea's incoming players are you most excited about and why? So before we do that, let me take these comments that were on the Chelsea ownership and with the Man United angle that came in. Ayo says Wale is right. They bought us to be a credit revolving facility and use the valuation to get more debt for the real estate, it's like shopping mall business. Fair enough. Um, and then he also says, okay, he now says regarding the dynasty that was my point regarding the question about if dynasty was their approach, considering how difficult it is in modern football to be a dynasty and they have to exit at some point. That basically said, yeah, it's so difficult to build the team to be dynastic because you have to keep you have to put in a lot of
Yeah.
work and you have to wait for it to happen. So how are they sure they're going to have a dynasty being
I mean,
there when they have to, if they have to
hey,
exit at some point?
sports
But
is
they have
a.
to try.
I
They
don't
have to try.
understand why anybody wants to invest in sports as a return because you have no control over like
There's
what
a
Over
lot of
actually
anything,
psychological
happens
and the
factors.
on
profit
Yeah.
the
margin
you
is
know
so
I mean,
small.
it's a difficult thing to invest in. Like
Yeah.
sports are just you can't just throw money at it and expect to win. I mean, that's Arsenal, right? Arsenal have done everything right, let's be honest, but still, one way or the other, it just doesn't work out. So sports, to me, if you ask me, if I had money like that they did, I don't know that I would necessarily be banking on a sports asset having to. But the fact is, if you're going to make a return, they have to win. And the way the world works now, winning one Premier League in 10 years is not going to cut it. You need to win two, three, four, which makes you a dynasty.
And
That's
so,
just
so what do they need to win? The first one, before we talk a dynasty, how do
what.
they
Yeah,
title contender? Because I see them as a title contender, pseudo in pseudo because I see the level of Liverpool and I see them that they're a bit higher than everybody else. A bit because Musala was on angel dust,
mm,
and now Arsenal are kind of tied to them. And if Man City find their level, I would say those three. But if I say Arsenal and Liverpool, I think City and Chelsea are about the same level. And with the way the team is looking, yeah, they should be able
yeah,
to be in the top four. So what do they need to get
yeah.
into those levels?
So I think like a lot of what you hear, the default like lazy answer that you hear is, "Oh, Chelsea need experience. They've had the youngest team in the league. They need experience." But again, like I said, when these guys came in, they went and got us experience. And where did that experience get us? They got us to 12th, right? So experience is not necessarily the thing, right? I think that what Chelsea really needs, truly, is consistency. That is what we need. I don't necessarily think that we need a big time defender to come in, which is like those are the talking points, right? You need a goalkeeper, you need a big time center back, and you need a number nine that scores 30 goals a season. Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, traditionally that's the formula, right? Like every single Premier League team that has won the league, that's what they've done. But I feel like Chelsea has shown me that on their day they can beat anybody. Right? They've shown me that not even just the PSG thing, just even throughout the season. On the day that they're really tuned in, they're locked in, they can give anybody a game and they can beat you if you are not careful. Right? So what it is now, where we're at now, is you need to bottle that and be consistent. Last year we were off Liverpool by 15 points. Right? If you go back and look at the games that actually hurt us in being in a title race. It wasn't necessarily losing to Man City or Liverpool. Anybody can lose to Man City or Liverpool. We lost to
Ipswich.
Bournemouth. We lost to Fulham. We lost to Ipswich. All these kind of like teams that on a good day, if you're a title contender, you need to be dispatching these teams. I should be tuning in for a routine 3 points, right? The reason we weren't able to do that is really because of consistency. And I feel, what does Chelsea need to become a title contender? I don't necessarily think that it's more signings, even though yes, we're still making moves in the market. I think it's really consistency from your center back partnership needs to be consistent. That was not today's Chalobah, tomorrow is Tosin, Fofana gone for the whole season. You can't build that consistency there. Your goalkeeper situation needs to be consistent. Sanchez, great shot stopper, but he has a bozo moment. We all know that he can drop a clanger at any time. You can't have Cole Palmer, which this was something I wanted to bite me last time I saw him when I saw Cole Palmer was somewhat overrated. But let me take that off the table here. That's not a conversation for today. But we can't have Palmer going 4 months. That's our superstar boy, right? We can't have you going off for 4 months to go and be discovering yourself, right? So what we need now is consistency. If Chelsea comes through, play to their full maximum potential, and are consistent for 38 games a season, absolutely we're in a title race. Absolutely. So that's what I would say we need to become a title contender.
But you just said you need you don't necessarily need experience, and you tell
I
me the
mean, like
next
we talk
moment
about
you need
experience. Like if
experience.
you
Hold on, you tell me you need experience,
No,
but then
no, I
no,
think
no, I
you
never
don't need
said we need
experience, but you need
experience is
no.
your
consistency.
bullet.
But
So
experience, one
Yeah.
of the things that people say experience about is because kids are inconsistent. The older
No,
ones have
but
found
okay,
some
think about it though.
consistency.
Think about it.
That
Think about it. Like what's the average career length of a Premier League player? If you're at the highest level of your career, maybe you get to play what, 8 seasons in
Mhm.
your whole entire career. Like play. Caicedo has played 4 seasons in the Premier League now. He played with Brighton already. This is going into what, third year with Chelsea. Palmer is going into his fourth season.
yeah,
Like all these
the
guys have
thing,
played a lot of
whole
ball,
wheel.
man. Like
Yeah,
Colwell has played a lot of ball.
Cucurella, yeah.
Hato that they want to go and buy. These guys already played over 100. Like,
Captain,
cause
Captain Ajax.
experience is not about age. Experience is about how much game time
you
you've
play,
actually
yeah,
gotten to
yes, correct.
play. Xavi Simmons, all these guys, they played a lot of ball. Jao Pedro has played a lot of ball, you know? So Jackson is somebody that I felt like is actually behind the curve because like when you look at his age, this guy didn't join an academy until he was in his 20s, right? That's not so someone like Jackson, you can say is an inexperienced player. All these other guys, they're going into their fourth season of playing in Premier League. How many seasons do you need to get experience? So that's what I'm saying. This season, if you can, all you need, you've already had the reps, you've already played enough games. Now, if you can now turn that into a consistent performance where I'm getting 7, 8 out of 10 out of all of you on a regular basis, the way Liverpool, the way Arsenal, all these teams that are fighting for the title, if you can give me that, that's all we need. We don't necessarily need to go buy Bastoni, which is somebody I hear all the time, and all go
Okay,
buy
okay,
Donnarumma and all these guys.
okay. So if I hear you correctly, and I want to go back to what, because I agree with you. If what you're saying about these guys is true, I've seen them play. They're very good. You have a team of world class players. None of you would argue that. So
Potentially
this,
World Cup.
yeah.
Potentially.
So
I think
this
only
is
Caicedo
down.
and Palmer
Well,
can
what we're
touch world
talking of,
class
I
at
don't
this
like to
point.
use potentially anymore. If a kid has shown us he can get there, or if he just needs to be regular at that level, he would be. You know what I mean? If he plays at what we think is his normal level, he's world class. It's not like him
Mm.
playing exceptional football. Just play like if Caicedo keeps his top form, he's world class.
Yeah.
What I've seen him play. The same thing I
Yeah.
can say about Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
You know, those two, for example, those are the two world class players I can think of the back of my head in Chelsea without
Hmm.
a blink. Um, yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for wine to, especially wine that's coming up as a kid. Why people say experience sometimes is they want someone that's already won it and done it, and so these guys might have not all won all of that and done all of that. And then the different thing about playing in the Premier League and winning league titles is kind of different. Like I'm kind of pushing you guys. I'm trying to prod this conversation in a way so you can get what we're going. That you can't tell me you don't need experience if we all know that there's a difference between when Cahill came to the team and what he helped, for example, or when a Lampard was on the team, or when guys have won many
No.
times.
Okay.
Like
Yeah. I don't want to
yeah,
take up
so
the whole
mhm,
conversation, right? So let me just say
mhm.
this and then I'll toss it over to the guys. I'm not saying we don't need experience. What I'm saying is the model that these guys gave us, going back to Clearlake, is that we're going to build that experience with you guys here at the club. It's not like we're going to go buy a guy who's already played 8 seasons, whatever. They need the experience here. The guys that I've seen, this is the fourth season we're going into. How many more seasons do you need for experience? I feel we have the experience in house. Yes, you can always go buy. If you go buy Virgil tomorrow, or like go buy one of these guys, it can only be exponentially better for you, right? But that's not the model. So I don't like to talk about things that are not on the cards. These guys are not about to go buy some ready-made guy for at 28 years old, right? The guys that we have, they played enough football to have the experience. Now they need to take the next level, the next step, which is the consistency. That's
Okay.
that's my point.
So
And
Ayo
Ayo,
asks,
your question is
Ayo,
very
Ayo,
much
Ayo,
valid.
Ayo just chimed in, and I'm very happy he did because you
how
notice I
can
didn't,
you guys be consistent? This is what Ayo is asking.
I
When there's so much churn to your forward line,
The
if this you,
consistency is not only the players, the consistency is with Maresca too. Like if we're going to deep dive into what I'm talking about, the tactics need to be consistent. We need, and the reason there's so much churn in the front line is because the guys are not consistent. If you are consistently scoring goals, they will leave you there.
Wale, 1 second. Wale, 1 second. This is part of the reason why that first question that was asked, you know what I mean? That like P boys vindicated. That I said to an extent, yes. They bought Jackson. They had all the data in the world to go and find player. They went to go and buy Jackson. You just said that he did not, this guy was behind the curve, right? And this is my issue with when we're just showering praises or when things are actually going well and we don't look back and be like, okay, what are actually our affairs, the risk and the things that we're doing. Don't get me wrong, I love
So
the
let me
fact
just
that
say that the Jackson hate is overblown, by the way.
I'm not
But
hating on Jackson. I'm not hating on
continue
Jackson.
your
I'm not,
because
yeah.
Jackson scored more goals than Ekitike that everybody's talking about
No,
now. That the
facts,
guys. So
facts,
let's
facts,
let's like the
facts.
hate on Jackson is
I'm not
completely
no, but
overblown.
I'm not hating
So
on him.
continue your point.
I'm not hating on him. It comes back to why people were skeptical about Clear Lake. People just didn't feel where Chelsea had been. They were the right new owners that understood football or where we were. Let's not lie. I did not expect Casiedo to be the next coming of Kante. I did not. When they threw 100 million at him, I was like, God damn, like they must have seen something we didn't see. But he's performing to that level. 75 million for João Pedro. I hope he's actually going to deliver. Jackson, as you said, is not that bad. But again, they had data. They went to go and buy Jackson. Look at the amount of misses that we as a club have suffered under Jackson. Sanchez is a good goalie. I don't think he's a bad shot stopper. But you just also said Sanchez could have a Rico moment. We used to call him Rico Suave in our group chat. Any moment, Sanchez can just do something dumb. We all know this. So again, I'm not anti the owners. I'm not anti all this stuff. And when people say, "What does Chelsea need?" that we're not too far off. I don't know. I agree with Wale to an extent about the like we need consistency. But how do you have consistency when your initial recruitment was the likes of Jackson, who actually need time? You understand? And then when they don't deliver, you
Yeah, but
churn.
that's what I'm saying is I feel like he has had the time. We're talking about going forward, right? From this
Going forward,
season,
yeah.
what do we
But
need to win this
this
season?
same
We've given
club.
Jackson time.
This is
We've given him
this is
reps.
the
Now
same
we need
club.
consistency.
This is the same club that was about to sell Chaluba just because they felt they could make more money based on
Yeah, another one of the
the.
mistakes that we
You
can say
understand? So,
they've
so
made.
for
Yeah.
me, there are things I see that makes me respect Clear Lake. Do you understand? Which is they could quickly like fix their mistakes. Hence why I'm behind them when they say when I'm behind that statement I said they are low key being vindicated because what they've proven to fans is they hear, they listen. They have all this massive acumen in how to manage money, manage funds, manage all those stuff. But they're showing that they want to win. But to push back a bit on Dada and Walida is just oh winning is part of the you don't know. The truth is we don't know. We just really don't know what these guys are going to do. You can believe that they are going to do the right things based on the fact that it should be winning and trophy, but based on what has happened in the Premier League and other clubs, people really are worried that okay, are you really about the sport in as much as I also want to be $1 trillion club or whatever you want to
Angel, sorry,
call it.
if I can make a
Go,
quick
go, go,
point.
go, go for it. Go for it.
Sorry, let's start with facts, right? So people always talk about the Glazers and all these previous owners. to the best of my knowledge, no one, people will buy the club. Let's align here and agree on this. They want the best for the club.
They
So
Absolutely.
want the financial
they
best for the
want
club
the
to
best.
carry
No,
on.
not financially. Let's just start with the best, and then we can kind
You
of rewind
cannot,
back.
yeah.
Let's rewind back. Is first of all, when you buy an asset, when you buy anything, most logical human beings, they want the best for what they bought.
Yeah.
The reason why failure happens oftentimes is due to wrong decisions and timing. And sometimes, like we're all human beings, we're all susceptible
Just,
to
yeah, play no mistakes.
making mistakes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then,
I'm not
so another point is that 9 out of 10, actually 9.9 out of 10, financial success and trophy success and club success, those two things go hand in hand. You look at Wrexham FC. The reason why Wrexham FC valuation has gone up because they've gotten promoted, they're winning things, right? You
Exactly.
cannot be the only reason why Manchester United, and you guys can talk about Glazers all you want. The only reason why Manchester United is still in the conversation, even though they almost relegated that season, is all the trophies, all the brand
Exactly.
reputation that the Glazers have won for the club. That is the only reason why. So Man United is literally living off of past reputations and past titles. That's really it. So it's almost impossible for you to not win on the field and expect your valuation can go up. Dude, I went to the Chelsea game in New Jersey. After we won that game, dude, Times Square was packed with Chelsea fans. Everyone was buzzing. Jersey sales went up. The traffic on the Chelsea website went up because we won the World Cup trophy. And now all of a sudden, sponsorship cost now for the T-shirt has gone up 4x because that's what winning does. If we had finished, if we had lost to PSG that day, we would have lost a lot of money, not just from the trophy, but from like a brand reputation. So
Yeah.
winning goes hand in hand with the financial metrics. That's how this works. At the end of the day, these guys they want the best for the club, but sometimes like stuff happens.
No,
So
no,
to just say,
actually, not
oh,
just winning, not just winning,
when you,
competing, being around the
competing,
winners.
yeah.
Because actually, even
okay,
if you had lost
okay,
that final, being in the final would have still given
Zaza, I have a
you
question for you.
a lot of financial
I have a
benefits.
question
Yeah.
for you.
Okay. What's the question?
If
Hmm.
my whole goal is to make money and just
Hmm.
be around the club where they are just now
Yeah.
but no trophy.
But you can
Like,
make more money by getting a
but
Okay.
trophy.
Brighton is
Okay.
Yeah.
making
I
Okay.
mean,
money,
like
fam. They are making
matching
No.
money
No.
on
No.
money,
No.
of
10x.
No.
course. That's
That's what I'm trying to explain. I'm like,
No. No.
people
No. No.
people
You're.
have wait.
Hmm.
People have genuine fears that some guys are going to come in, regardless of how you want to spin that. Like, yeah, well, I can't reconcile your belief almost 100% that like winning ties to their profit. Brighton is a very solid model where it
Totally
does
different business model.
No.
Like
No.
with
But hold on. Hold on. Let me
even
pause. You
Brighton
asked me the
fans, they
question.
want to
Dada.
win.
Dada.
they
Let
want
me
to win,
land
Yeah.
here.
but Brighton
Sorry.
owners are not
But
looking
guess
at
what,
winning
though?
Idris.
anything.
But guess
Idris.
what, though?
Idris.
Brighton will
Idris.
never
Listen
have
to
the
this
financial
quickly.
capacity to go win
Brighton
it.
is winning. Brighton was
Yes.
taken from the second division or something.
Okay,
This
like,
one has
bro.
brought them to the championship, and then now they're in
Yeah,
the
Oh my
top
god.
winning.
six.
Yeah.
And you're
Look,
telling me that
I
they're
can
not
bring you a
successful?
Brighton fan that I've known from. I knew this guy when I lived in UK. Shout
Yeah.
out Chris Brightwell. This guy was a Brighton fan when they had Bobby Zamora was their striker. Bobby Zamora is
Yeah.
70 years old or
Okay, if
whatever.
you guys say they're
That's
winning,
where
they're winning.
Brighton are coming from.
From
So
and
they're
you're
already
talking about
winning. They're already
You said they're
how do you
winning.
winning.
think how do you
Okay,
think us
okay.
no, the whole point of Brighton is simply we get our players play good. We use
I
little money,
accept.
get these players to play good. They get us close to the top 10. Teams in the top 10 that are traditionally in the top 10, like our players, they buy our players, we'll go and do it again. But just
Yeah.
taking players that everybody thinks should be in the championship and getting into the top 10 with them is success. It's
And
all
I bet you, if you ask their owners, they want to
Mhm.
win the Premier League multiple times. They
Yeah.
want to win the Champions League multiple times. The problem they have is that coming from where they are coming from, they need to flip all those players to be able to stay competitive
But
and gradually
Wale,
move.
what is winning? You see, here's where my own thing is. You know, now if they shift this post like this, you know what's funny is everything you guys say, I actually agree with it. If we're looking hindsight, like, oh my god, look at where we've been coming from. Now Chelsea, they talk about too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But winning for
So
Brighton is coming to Europa and all this.
okay, so
Winning for Chelsea is
but
winning the
Winning
league
the
the
and
league.
title.
becoming a
Okay, so
dynasty.
I'm just saying. What if Chelsea is making these mad profits as these guys are showing, which I am for, and they keep flipping players like Chaluba mid-season, saying
But I
he's
don't think they care about the profits they're making from flipping Chaloba.
They
All
don't care.
those profits
It's
they're making
valuation.
is to be able to make the
Yeah.
moves that they need to be able to win. Because the ultimate win at the end of the day is the valuation of the club, not
okay.
the
God
day-to-day
bless
Okay,
you. You
revenue.
okay,
said it. You
okay,
It's the
said it.
okay, okay.
valuation
You said
Pause,
Zaza.
of
You
the
caught that
club.
pause.
right. You said
Yes,
that. You
the
said it.
valuation is tied to how
Oton,
much you've won.
Oton.
Yes.
Then, but so my own
And
is just
Best,
I don't want to be
best,
another
best
Arsenal,
answer
but
again. Best answer
it's okay.
again. Look at Manchester United, blue chip club. Probably the only club you can put beside Real Madrid in terms of value. Probably the only. Guess what is happening? These guys are not winning, and the owners are saying we want this X amount of money, and everybody's going, no, we're not buying you. We don't want to go in there. Why? Because we have to pay all of this. We have to pay off the
no, no,
debt.
no, 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 no,
Then
no,
then
no,
we
no,
have to
no.
now what? No, no,
Remember,
no.
even upon all they are not winning, that
Mhm.
Sheikh Jassim guy was ready to buy the club. The only reason
Yes,
he didn't end up buying it was because these guys didn't want to let go. That was why.
yes.
It wasn't
That's
because
actually
the club was
true.
not an
Yeah,
asset to be bought, and they were going to buy it for 7, 8 billion. What was it? 7 or 8 billion pounds
around
for an asset
700
that has not won the league in over 10 years. I mean, that just
years
goes to show you how important winning is. I think that even
winning.
just makes my point even more.
Yeah,
Right?
so
The more you win, the higher the valuation of your club in this world
Simple
that
as
we
that.
live in. That's just very simple. Like
Okay.
that's just it.
I really I look forward to
okay, so
us
I'm
winning.
not saying all this stuff is going to pan out. I'm not
I
not.
didn't.
If I was
I,
not down, I was like, hey man, I would be here talking to you guys. I'll be on my yacht. I'll be
okay.
like, we don't know that. We don't know. But what I'm saying is just giving on the evidence of what we
I
know
am not saying you
is
are wrong,
working.
go. I'm not saying you are
It's
wrong.
just what it is.
I just have a very worrisome thought process. Like you guys are so sure that they want to win a
I'm
title.
not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just
Like
saying.
for me, I just feel like if the
No,
money is
I
looking
think
good and the
Idris,
evaluation is
sorry,
high. Wait
sorry.
now, if the
Oh,
money is
sorry.
looking good and the evaluation is high and we never win a title, because Zaza, what you're saying is fans alignment, ownership alignment, and whether we banter or not, people want to win. Arsenal will give a limb for a
I
Premier
think
League
I
victory.
think where we're diverging is you see it as what the fans want and what the ownership group wants can be
Yes,
divergence,
yeah,
right? But
yes.
my point, and I think what Dada's point is, no, actually, what
They
we
might be
want as
convergent.
fans is a byproduct of what these guys want. These guys want maximum return. They want to make this club the biggest club in the world. Toboli actually said that. The only way you do that is by winning. There's no there's no
There's
other
no
way.
other way.
There's
Okay,
no
There's
other
no other
way.
way.
You gotta
I'm not
win. You gotta win.
Idris,
And
All
for
sorry,
right,
me
last
as
guys.
a
point, bro.
fan, we are aligned on that point.
okay.
Okay,
So
guys, we're gonna have to start rounding up now. We've been
Sorry, guys. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah, I
okay,
know.
it's okay. Well, it's not. There's no need to apologize, but
I just no trust. I not
we've got
just trust these
uh,
billionaires, man. That's just
everybody.
it.
Everybody
I
gets a
beg.
chance on this one.
Follow the smart
But
money, my
there's a
brother.
there's a comment from Ayo, and then there's the question. Everybody gets a chance on this one. And I read the comment from Ayo. It says you guys are potentially going to have a completely new forward line that has to adapt to other different players. How do you
Right.
create consistency and next season you change it all over again? And then
Yeah, and that yeah.
this brings me to the question that I want also everyone to have a chance at. Which of Chelsea's incoming players? Because I just questions there's a lot of players in there. So which of them are you most excited about and why? And then you can also answer Ayo's question if you want to. And then I'll start with you, Dada, this time.
Which player? You know what? Interestingly enough, the player I'm most excited about, we don't even have him yet. So let me talk about the player I'm most excited. It's probably João Pedro. And if you notice, one thing a lot of Chelsea fans or a lot of people have not given or not giving the honest credit for is we bought this guy's never been to Coburn and he won us a trophy. We bought João Pedro mid-season. He was chilling on a beach in Brazil, flew him to Miami, just scored 3 goals and paid for himself.
He
If
literally
that's
paid
not
for
the
himself.
trade, if that's not the trade of the decade, I don't know what is. Like this guy's
Don't
never
talk
been, he
too
doesn't
much.
even know where
Don't
Cobham,
talk too
he doesn't
much.
even know what Cobham looks like. And he already paid for himself and also paid for his own boy.
Allow that talk his shit, man. Allow that talk his shit.
Yeah, this is equivalent to like you hire someone to work for your company, right? They've never even been to the office
From
and
onboarding.
they've never even done onboarding and they made you record 4 people. before they came to the office.
I'm dead. Guys say they are
Uh-uh.
God. Yeah, guys say they
So
are God
Ayo
bought
is
all
not
them.
there telling us how we're going to integrate forward line when the forward line that we bought this
Has been
was
integrated.
just come back in Brazil. Kept last for the goal. For the goal, bro.
Good
Against his
down,
own
good
club.
down, good down.
And like the funny part is this guy could have walked past the assistant manager and not even
Bro, they're
recognize
gonna
him.
clip you up, man. They're gonna clip you up, man.
Oh, I
Allow
remember
that.
this.
Allow that talking shit, man. I am here for it.
I'm sorry, like all the
I am here
integration
for
we
it. I am
need.
here for it. See,
Uh-uh.
what I'll give that credit for is me and him will go like aggressively. I will still link up and hang out. I love the guy. Guy loves me.
The guy
But we will
already
tear
paid
each
for
other
him.
down.
You know what the guy told Chelsea is like, guys, sign me, I'll pay my own transfer fee. You know what he did?
Yeah. See, I got to give that credit. That is the one person that has been consistent with all this model, succession planning, finances, and this thing. I'm just skeptical because until I see the results, will I jump in? But I'm not going to say anti-clearly because I did not understand what they were trying to do. That's the honest. And I was coming from a skeptical standpoint. With these forwards that he's talking about, what Ayo is asking is actually legit. It's legit. And
Yeah,
it
yeah,
ties to what Wale
absolutely.
is saying about consistency. But here's the thing, the quality of the players we're buying now versus the Jackson we bought that time, there's a difference. And again, because of this difference, is why me, I say I'm a believer. I can see them make that mistake, and I can see them dial back, and I can see them go again.
So who are you most excited about?
Esteval.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Esteval.
Oof.
The reason
yeah,
I'm very excited by Esteval is the way we play. Hopefully, my is not long-winded one. Chelsea wingers are not set up to be guns blazing. They don't have as many opportunities one on one alone to create or take on players and be successful. Noni and all these other guys. They have to do this inverted thing where they play in intricate tight spaces and create, and they've been successful doing it. I give credit to Maresca and a few other folks, right? That being said, Noni leaving was surprising to me, but then the Esteva was coming in. João Pedro was huge, as Dada said. I didn't expect such a blowing up to the scene. The system works for him, right? Watching how Estevao plays, he can take players on. He can do the same thing Cole Palmer is doing. He's very young and he can score goals. So the drop
yeah,
off from what we used to have before when Kante gets injured or when Cole Palmer gets injured, we won't see that sharp drop off. We'll just see probably just a little bit time to adjust. We'll bounce back. So that's why I'm excited about like what we have on the wings.
yeah. So I think I'm excited for Esteval, maybe for a slightly different reason. The kid is 18 years old, so let's start with that, right? Like what you're saying, Idris. Yeah, maybe 2 3 years down the line, right? Like, yeah,
Boy, it's good, man.
he can
So the goal
be,
is scored against
he
us.
can be, but like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you scored that. That was an awesome goal. For me, it's Esteval because Chelsea is not the team that used to like, let's take it back a little bit, right? Chelsea was actually in for Neymar back in the day. I don't know if you guys actually knew that, right? They had meetings with Neymar's dad and all these things. In the end, Neymar ended up going to Barca. Every time you have these wild soccer fans, right? Everybody is a Brazil fan. I think that's everybody's second team, right? We have these exciting Brazilians, these exciting South Americans, all these guys. They never come to my club, even though we're there in the beginning to talk about them and everything, like to talk to them and they can look at us. But they end up going to Real and all these places. Esteval turned down Real and Barca and all these people to come to Chelsea, right? So for once, we're actually getting this potential Messi like talent, potential, right? We don't know. You can come and flame out, like who knows, right? Hopefully he doesn't. But it's exciting to me that we're actually in the conversation now to get these types of players. That's actually why I'm more excited to see Esteval because if he hits that level that was he's supposed to hit, that's a potential Ballon d'Or winner. That those guys don't typically come to Chelsea, right? So that's why I'm most excited for Esteban. It's just as purely just a fan. We have a huge talent on our hands. This can be our next Eden Hazard level type player. I mean, that's why I'm most excited. Now, am I pinning the whole success of next season on Esteban? Absolutely not. Like to me, when I even think of the players that I don't even have him as a starter right now. I mean, not in the first like half the season, right? So I'm not. I get everything you said, Idris, about one-on-one isolating players. I actually think that's Maresca's game, right? That's why he likes
Yeah.
Gittins. That's why he loved Noni so much. Is he loves those direct wingers that I can. The whole inverted thing is to isolate the wingers with their fullbacks.
Yeah.
That's really it, right? And actually, my pet peeve with Maresca initially was that his game does not incorporate fullbacks who overlap to be able to free up players. I think that's what killed Jadon Sancho, right? So
Yeah.
last season, because Jadon Sancho needs that overlap for him
Hmm.
to be able to do his thing, right? Noni doesn't. Noni is going to take you one on one, and which is why I
But
think that
but
was a bad sale for us. But anyway, that's
no,
a
but
different
but but, but on
conversation
the
for a
non
different day.
part too, by the time he and Neto gets the ball, if you look at our build up, our transition. By the time they get the ball, there's two players right there, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but
yeah, and that's the
I'm also
problem.
finding out like that's how Maresca builds up. And
Yeah,
right now we were
that's the
bashing the
problem, right?
players. Yeah,
That's why you as a winger you're up against you're double teamed a lot
you
of the
double
time,
teamed a
right?
lot. Yeah,
And
but
that's
which
why Esteval, he having that talent and that skill set
there you go.
can unlock that. My own thing is he's 18 years old.
He's 18 years old.
He's
Fair enough. Fair. I'm just excited.
not
Yeah, I'm just
everybody is
excited.
Yamal. He's coming to the Premier League. There's
Yeah,
so
I'm
many things
excited.
working
I'm
against
excited
that
about
brother.
him.
So
I'm
I'm
excited
definitely
about him.
excited for Esteval for what he can do going down the line. And just as a fan, I mean, just getting one of these Brazil star boys is an awesome thing for me. Another player that actually I'm super excited about is Andre Santos as well. That's another guy that probably
Yes.
another guy you don't have down as a
Yes.
starter, but
Yes.
I am super interested in seeing how Santos comes in because I feel like our midfield 1-2 punch, Enzo and Caicedo,
Caicedo.
probably best 1-2 punch in the world. Let's just be real.
Man,
Like
it took some
those
time for
that
that to
1-2
gel.
punch.
Oh. It took some time for that thing to gel. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. But I mean, on their day, that's an awesome 1-2
that's an
punch. Now
awesome
to
one. Yeah.
have Santos coming
With,
in
with
to the
Lavia.
level of with Lavia, I mean, like
No, we are
midfield, the
solid,
game
man.
is
We are
won
solid.
in the
Like, but
midfield,
that's the
right?
thing. You're touching on the pace.
So
Like, there's a level of drop off that we used to have erratically when Chelsea managers have all these players
yeah.
because they just don't fit. Right now, I feel they're just very close to each other that it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
So,
those are the players that I'm more excited about. I mean, Jao Pedro, awesome Club World Cup. But I mean, I love Jao Pedro. Like at Brighton, I always wondered how the hell this guy was not someone that I got talked about more, right? Love the player. My only thing is you have been in the Premier League for a long time and you've not scored more than 10 goals in the season, right? So is this the guy that we're going to ride to a Premier League title? We'll see. I mean, maybe Brighton were a trash team and they just didn't give the guy the right game. I mean, there's arguments to say they didn't play him in his best position as that kind of false nine type player, but the guy's been here. So how do you go from 10 to maybe what we need from you in 20 to like, so excited for Jao Pedro, excited to see Javi Simmons. I was telling you guys in the backstage before we started, like I can't say I've watched Javi Simmons on a regular basis to say, oh, this is the guy that is going to take us there and everything. Definitely excited to see where he is.
I
But
haven't really, I really don't know where he
Esteval,
fits. I
yeah,
really
I
don't.
mean Esteval and Santos, those two guys for me, just as a football fan, just as a pure football fan who loves Joga Bonito and wants to see some skills at Stamford Bridge, those are the two guys that I'm excited to see. Now, are they going to win us the league next year? I mean, by the grace of God.
But, unfortunately for me, I won't be in that conversation. But I'll be in a conversation which Ayo is reminding all of us about, and he said it laughing first of all at that's straight at the decade comment, and then he now said that
You're
I can't
talking
wait
this.
for the end of the
Now,
season.
Dada talk about, just remember that
Yeah,
it was Dada
yeah,
that
and
said
that's
this,
what
not
I
me.
say.
Before
I can't wait
you
for the end of
lump
the
all
season.
of
We'll
us.
revisit many conversations because it's always fun. We'll revisit it. I remember beginning of last season, I was so bullish about Man United making top four. I didn't even. I was so glad I wasn't asked to appear on the end of the season podcast because like I was quite glad to host this one for one reason. It's not as depressing as that one was.
Yeah, with winners. So you feel good to
Ah,
be.
come
It's
on,
good to
come
be
on,
with
come on,
winners.
come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Humble
But
yourself.
I also expect a tough season next season for Chelsea, though. I know
Oh,
we're going to,
yeah.
I know we're going to end up fourth, but I expect a tough season
No,
because
if you
people.
guys are not in the top four, it's a disappointment. It's a
It would
total
be,
disappointment.
but like,
Yeah.
we
I
have to
agree.
also
I
understand,
agree with
like,
that
Yeah.
for sure.
whatever we told the world in that Club World Cup game against PSG,
No, it's not just about that. You came fourth last season, didn't you?
No, we did. No, wait. We came fourth,
Yeah.
but we have a way of
Yeah.
playing. We have a way, everybody was like, we need to
No,
go.
whatever.
Bro,
What I'm saying is,
there was a,
anything else you're saying is excuses. That's what I'm just telling you. You're just saying, no. If he doesn't come top four, it's back. It's not. I'm not saying he should be fired, but it's a
It'll be tough.
disappointment.
It
Yeah,
will be tough. It
but
will be tough.
Ayo says, great show, guys. Fantastic debut, Wale. I'd say the same, and great to see you
Yes,
again,
sir.
Idris.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all for
Thanks
coming
for having
on.
me,
You,
guys. It
you
was
guys have
fun.
had a good season. There's a lot to look forward to. I can't say I'm wishing you well because I know you're not wishing me well, so it's okay.
I wish you
Well,
well. Well for you is maybe you're back in the conference league next year or something, right? So,
yeah, well, it is what it is. Whatever it comes, I can't do
I
anything
wish you
about
well.
it.
I wish you
Yeah.
well.
Ayo says my hot take is Chelsea will have a worse season than last season. Amen,
Come
amen.
on,
Because a
stop
lot of
that.
Chelsea fans
Stop
around me.
that.
A lot of Chelsea fans around me. Oh God, man, I'm tired. I'm tired. Man.
Stop that.
Misery
Stop
loves
that.
company.
And the only
Misery,
reason, the only reason I'm worried about potentially having a slump this year, but not that bad, is just manager experience. I don't know how he's going to manage it, but so far he's been flexible. Again, top class.
let me give you guys my own
Yeah.
hot take. Liverpool will have a worse season than last season.
Hey, that's not. Yeah, it's not
100%.
And
inconceivable.
it's not
It's
a
not
case of
inconceivable.
worse in the case that you were champions and so they're not champions, so it's worse. No, I mean the drop off will be
It'll be
glaring.
severe.
Everybody
No,
will
I
be like,
mean,
reality,
wow.
it's
reality,
amazing the way
reality will
players
set in.
get old overnight,
Hmm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
we can get there now. Virgil can't run again. Like, Salah is stuck in the mud. Like, I mean,
Reality
hey,
is setting.
it's
All that
wishful
one.
thinking. I mean, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. That's
Yeah.
football is not mathematics. It never just pans out like that. So
Yeah, it is, man. Thanks for coming on, guys. Thank
Thank
you
you for having
yeah,
for
me.
man.
joining us. Thanks for the comments, Ayo, David, Kenny. Is that Kenny? Yeah, Kenny. Thank you all, guys. We'll see you again next week. There should be another round up next week. I think it might be Arsenal. I'm not sure. Should be coming up next week. You will see me less this season because I am not. I don't want to be attracting any attention this season. I don't think Manchester United will do better. So and I can't watch Liverpool and Arsenal win. But whatever happens, let's everyone have a wonderful season. I wish you all good. I wish you the best, and thank you. Bye bye.
All right, bye, guys.
You're watching Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing go reach your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. You're watching Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing go meet your football need. Your football need. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. Sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. Your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy.